every writer and every artist, no matter what age. Well, quite frankly, it's boring. But some original art with me as well. A veteran of the comic book industry for 30 years, of a writer, of an artist, and this sucks.
Tonight's episode, Blind Jeopardy.
Don't start! We haven't left yet!
Yes. Hey, everybody. It is Aaron live. This is our special Wraith of God Blood Hunters close out stream. I'm Aaron. That's Shelley over there. I can tell that's why she's not on, is she's not feeling too good, but
I am looking even worse.
I was going to put Aaron solo a little pressed, but then Shelley at the last second goes, I'm doing it. You sound like SpongeBob. Pinky extended.
I didn't know it was my birthday.
Yeah, so here we are. Well, you know, since it's the Halloween season, we can kind of pretend you're like the Invisible Woman, right? So it's Aaron and Shelley, the Invisible Woman. She's right there. Can't you see her?
Right there.
I can hear her. She must be there. All right. First one in the house was our good friend Leg Kick. He gets nothing for being here first. We do appreciate you joining us. And we also like to say that Leg Kick is here because Leg Kick is almost always here. Killer Squid is here. He says, I've been reading a lot of old Marvel comics over the last couple of years, and I've come to the conclusion that Jack Kirby is to comic artist what Conan is to barbarians.
It's a good connection.
I like that. Dan Genovese, the pizza man, is here.
Oh, nice.
Luke Korolowitz art is here. Sorry, Luke. I'd have to do that every single time. Dr. Masks, he can't join us, but he's here anyway. You can figure that out yourself. Humphrey Bear says, draw new stuff. And you know what, Shelley?
You're going to listen.
I'm going to draw some new stuff.
Did you ask him?
Psychic, I guess. Oh, Shelley's here. She says, hey, my friends, I'm still under the weather. Why don't you read it?
I'm still under the weather. We'll pop in off camera and say hi. We appreciate you all so much.
The evil one has joined us. He says, hope you get feeling better really quick. Of course, he's referring to Shelley. All of us desperately need you to help Aaron as usual.
Ooh, that's so sweet.
Here, let me help you with this. See if that helps clear your head a little bit. But then he get a little bit. Somebody get that. Hey, I got ahead of myself. Way ahead of myself. Holy fire. Let's see here. David Brohock Williams is in the house. He won't be joining us because David's working, and he said he's not going back online until he's done with Truth, Justice, American Way and Bass Reeves. Thank you so much. Both, which are live campaigns right now. You should check them both out. Blackjack bringing up the obvious. We're so close to 120. We are, and we're going to get there tonight, and we're going to get all of you that free Esther, Queen of Hearts playing card. Yeah, exactly. Look at Humphrey Bear's begging for more. I'm going to do it. He's like pressuring me.
Doing it.
Randy Howell it is settled. Shelley is in charge of the math for now. I had kind of messed up which night we were closing out. So, and let's see here. Dan Daniel Russell. Hi, Shelley. We'll
Hey,
keep you in our
Daniel.
prayers. Aaron, good day, sir. Thank
Thank
you, Daniel.
you.
Appreciate that. Eric the Guapo is here. L.A. Munoz. Starting early. Never heard of such a thing. Yeah, I was a minute and 30 seconds early.
Yeah.
But who's counting? American Comics Company is here. Aaron Louvier is here.
Yeah.
Louvier. What did I say? Louvier? Louvier.
Yeah.
Our friends at Zade Comics are here. You know, forget it. I'm just going to quit right now. That is Phil Diaz, of course. John Porton is here. Ron Pop is here. Horror Mike. Okay, Horror Mike, I have a question for you. And anybody else in the chat who might have some knowledge of horror films.
Oh, the horror.
I was desperately trying to find this film because I wanted to use a clip from it, and I couldn't because I couldn't remember the name of the film or who was in it. But this guy, he was like a scientist or something, and this like his face was like frozen in this like maniacal smile. It was all really gross, almost Dr. Phibes like smile. And he finally got cured of it. It was like a psychological thing. But he was really mean to all the people that worked for him. And so this psychiatrist or somebody helped him, and his face returned to normal at the end, but he couldn't open his mouth. And the doctor left and didn't tell him this could be a potential side effect. So the guy's trying to eat, right? And he can't, So he sends his little henchman to the doctor who's at the train station to ask him what's going on. And the doctor tells him, oh, don't worry. All he has to do is this, this, and this, and his face will relax and he'll be able to talk and everything will be normal again. So, but the guy hates the scientist so much. He treated him so badly. When he comes back, the guy's like, well, what did he say? And he goes, I missed him. I didn't get this. And so the guy's sitting there desperately trying to shove food in his mouth, but he can't open his mouth. And that's kind of how it ends. And I can't remember the name of that movie.
Wow.
So anybody remember the name of that movie? It's black and white. Let me know.
You're a super chat.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to
so
get
cool.
there. Look at this. Peyton Holden's here. Oh, jeez. He could have come in. He could have come in and said nice things, but no. Peyton. And so
join me in the glow in the dark club.
So it ends again. It was 40s or 50s. It was black and white. That may have been it, but I'm not sure if it was exactly. Geek Avengers dropping $5 American right on me. Thank you so much, Geek. Hi, Shelley. We're fighting off a cold we brought back from Disneyland. I blame Mickey. I would too blame Disney for everything.
I'm sorry. I hope you're getting over it quicker than I am.
Let's see here. Pumps Back is here. We always love it when Pumps Back is here. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what Pumps Back means. I don't know what Twonky means. But I'm watching The Changeling. Ooh. George C. Scott is great. He is not a very tall man though. Evil One says it's too old of a flick for me to know. Let's see. As I previously said, Mr. Sardonicus, 1961, directed by the great William Castle. Look at that. Horror Mike comes through for me. Wow. Just like that. Nice. Mr. Sardonicus. Okay. I got to remember that now.
So weird.
And then look at that. One Slick Dude. He's on it too.
Wow.
Then he corrects his spelling, which is always appreciated. Aaron equals quick draw artist, fastest pencil in the Old West and in the New West as well. Thank you so much. Dead Punk Gage, Mr. Sardonicus with Guy Wolf. Right? Look at everybody knows but me.
So smart.
Oh, I wish I knew that. Oh, okay. I'll figure it out though.
Yeah.
Played by Guy Wolf.
Wow.
Rob Brown says, hey, Disneyland or World is such a waste of money. Look at that. There's a
daughter.
Yeah, I'll let you handle that at some point, or I can later.
Gosh, she's so random.
I know. Evil One, I'll get it. Hang on a second. I did see it and then I missed it. There it is.
Oh my goodness.
Evil One sending us 5 big ones. Thank you, Evil One. What does Dracula's girlfriend and a bad boxer have in common? They both go down for the Whoa. Hello. I'm going to have to... he suckered me right into that one, didn't he?
That was pretty funny.
Mr. Sardonicus. Don't let me forget that.
I won't.
You will. I'll forget
Where's
it too.
This picture I'm supposed to find?
It's the one with holding the little koala bear up on my chest of drawers in my dresser. Yeah. Don't worry, I'll get it later. I just wanted you to.
Oh Lord. Just half of my face scared me.
Mrs. Sardonicus. Randy Howell, backer number 1922, picked up a shot glass. Thank you, Randy.
Nice.
Randy has a long way to go to get to like 14 backings that he did in the last one.
You guys
So we
are
have plenty of time.
and, you know, in the Joe Biden America economy right now, we appreciate
Really,
all the backing. I mean,
that's really
it's
true.
crazy.
If we could, we'd send you all a loaf.
Right.
But we couldn't.
We
But
kinda
we
had
would.
that experience this
We would
week,
if
though.
we could. Oh, we had a lot of bread.
Bread.
It was
The
good.
soup night.
Yeah, we had a soup night with a lot of bread. That's right. Okay, I'd like to run like a quick public service announcement if I could, because I think it's important for some reason.
I can't remember.
Mm. I think I did it without. I think it was a perfect
Was
cut
it?
right there. Yeah, we didn't.
Nice.
Yeah, we've got the Frankenstein in there. Anyway, yeah, if you would like and subscribe to this channel, if for nothing else but just fun recreational purposes, we greatly appreciate it, because they keep telling me it helps me grow my channel, and that's what we're here for, is growth.
Right.
You know, Shelley,
Huh.
I know you're not feeling well, and your throat's a little sore. So I know snacks are hard for you tonight, but there's like, I bought even more ice cream. So there's like all these little cartons of ice cream. It's like an Easter egg hunt downstairs.
You just find them everywhere,
That's
or
right.
what?
They're packed with ice and hidden all over. But I did bring something for me, and let's
I'll go get cough drops.
that'll be your okay. But are you gonna crawl on the floor? How are you gonna get
Maybe.
across?
Well, as soon as you do the. That one.
Okay, red.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Oh, hi. I got pie again because I've been craving it like a madman. Like Mr. Sardonicus craved food at the end of the film. I should have known that was a William Castle film, but I didn't know who the actor was. I didn't even know where to start looking. I was like typing in on YouTube, guy who smiles a lot, horror film, and you can imagine the stuff I got. But anyway, I went with cherry pie, not homemade, because I'm too lazy to do that most of the time. I do it during the holidays, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, but that's it. Otherwise, I'm buying pies. So let's just all grab a big bite of whatever snack food you have with you. Just like Mom used to make. Speaking of my mom, my 91-year-old mother is doing good. She's in the other room watching old movies. Let me see. What can you guys share with me? And we got some questions about Disneyland. Evil one's like, come on, my joke wasn't that raunchy. It didn't deserve a language alert. I have 5-year-old kids watching this show. Actually, I don't know if that's true or not, but there could be. Let's see. Look at that, Ranko Pop. Been meaning to grab a couple of t-shirts, so just order them before I forget. That's what you should do, Ronco. I appreciate it. Our t-shirt numbers are actually really, really good on this campaign. And so I'm quite excited about it. In fact, let me bring up the campaign real quickly here, and I won't do it a ton because I'm a terrible self-promoter. But let's take a look at the old campaign. So like we of course have the books, right? You have 4 cover options, of course. Bisley, me. So you have 4 cover options. This is a really good perk right here, the 3-pack plus, because you get all 3 cover of my covers plus the Garbage Man limited edition signed and numbered print. And if you want to, you can add on the Bisley cover with just like $2 extra shipping, so it doesn't really change the price at all. So, I mean, it does because you have to pay for the Bisley, but if I concluded all 4 of them in this, it would have been the same price as if you're just adding on. So anyway, but some of the extra stuff that we were talking about here is these shot glasses. which have sold really well. We're real pleased about it. It's just kind of a novelty thing. We're not getting rich off it, but it was not intended. It's kind of there to kind of be just kind of a fun little extra to kind of help promote the book and the series. So you got all these cover options here. Oh, the hats. These are going. I'm gonna get these printed up. Okay, go ahead, Shelley. I'm going to get these printed. I have to black it out the screen so Shelley can sneak in without being seen. There you go. We're gonna throw the hats in and get them done almost immediately as soon as I get money from the campaign, and then we can wear them and help promote them. But I think they're a really cool item. They're the Empire Comics logo, not a Wraith logo, but the actual comic company logo, which I think is kind of cool. So you might want to check those out if you haven't. There's the t-shirts. Well, let's get to the the bigger shots of the t-shirts. There we go. We got the Bloody Werewolf by Dale Keown, which is, as you can imagine, incredibly popular. That's my dog, who's incredibly not popular when he barks anyway. We have Garbage Man t-shirts by me that are 2 colors, and we have the classic Wraith of God t-shirt. So there's just lots of little extras to come.
So
just 12. So we're way under what our break-even number would be, but I'm going to do them anyway because.
Well, what do you guys think of them? What would you change if you could, if you thought they'd sell better? I don't know.
Well, don't ask for opinions. We'll get a million opinions.
Well, that's all right. Our valued peeps.
It's true.
100 guys.
So here's a couple of pages. The thing about this book is, if you don't know, is it's going to be about a 45-ish page Wraith of God story. Then I keep looking over to Shelley, and I know she's on camera, but so I'm looking at the Invisible Woman right here. It's a 45-page, somewhere in that neighborhood, Wraith of God story. Then you've got an 18-page Garbage Man backup, which is right here, colored by Dan Lawless. And then you've got a nightclub story, which I'm not sure how many pages that is yet. I just got it plotted. So, so there's Shelley stand-in. Excuse me. I tell you, every time I eat on this show, I have a little problem. I just want to clear that up. And then we have 15 pages of Kit Carter, which has been added, which is going to push this up to like 100 pages. So it's a 100-page book for $25. Are you kidding me? It's shocking, isn't it? Do you remember this guy's name? Didn't Samantha name him at some point? I can't remember what his name was, but there he is. So anyway, there's the campaign. It is live. This is our closeout. this is our closeout stream before it goes into in demand. And so we're trying to get to 120 tonight because when we get to 120, we get another stretch goal, which is, of course, as I mentioned earlier, the Esther playing card. That's a Queen of Hearts that matches our Wraith of God Ace of Spades playing card from the last campaign. You're precious.
You're beautiful.
You're beautiful. You're precious. So anyway, that's the campaign. The link is in the description of this video. Let's refresh real quick just for fun's sake. Look at that, 119,707. We are less than $300 away from 120, which is our goal for tonight. So we're going to hit that. And I want to thank all of you guys for getting behind this project early. I know it's, you always feel like, oh, I got to wait, 8 months before I get it or whatever, but it's well worth it. And you guys coming in strong, coming in early allows us to do these projects. So we appreciate your patience
and we know
and your support.
Fulfill. So
yeah, that's right. You're going to get it. And it's going to be good. You know that too.
That's true.
So, all right, let's go back to the chat real quick after I did that little, Geek Adventure says Safeway pies. I'm in for $2. Thank you so much for that. Phil, he likes pie.
Yum.
Phil is also featured on our giveaway card, the Phil Diaz Merv the Astro Chimp card.
Before we even knew Phil.
That's right.
We just knew we had to have someone in our life.
Yep, that's exactly right. Now look at this. Phil got to go to Orlando yesterday for a family vacation. We drove from Chicago. He drove all the way down there in one day.
Nice.
That's insane. American Comics Company is here. cheers to Aaron's 90-year-old mother joining us for the closeout. Yeah. I just informed her of the good news. I'm going to be streaming for about 4 or 5 hours.
She's so cute.
Dan, just back the Bisley cover. Thank you, Dan. I
Nice.
appreciate it. You won't regret it. It's a real cool piece. And you know what I'm going to do? I bought the original.
I know.
Expensive. Jeez. But when I get it, we're going to do an unboxing, an opening of the original art live. So it'll be fun. Of course, Phil's a big Bisley fan. Oh, Vic's here. You need to say, just like Mama used to make in a Southern accent. You kind of sounded kind of angry. Oh,
Just like Mama used to
just
make.
like Mama used to make.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so there you go. Christina Lynn is here, of course. She is a
Jeffrey.
freelance editor and proofreader that worked on Wraith of God.
And Jeffrey's.
Horror Mike says, Bisley, I had to
For the
double.
win.
I had to double back to get that beauty. The
Nice.
Keon Guerrero shirt is nice. We're trying to offer you guys nice things,
Yeah.
cool things
Bit
that
of
you can't
variety.
resist. That's exactly right. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969 is here. Metal Movies
love
and
seeing you
Brewskis
guys.
is here. They look great. Thank
Nice.
you. Marcus Killigrew is here.
Marcus.
He feels everyone's pain.
Hope school's going well for the boy.
Dead Punk Gage says, Luke Harlow's right. Yeah, well, Polygon's intellect is equal to that of a chickpea. I don't know what's going on there, but that's a side conversation that we're not involved in. I think there's 2 copies left of the original as an add-on. It's the Esther cover. That's all I got left. Eventually, I will do a second printing, but I'm not sure exactly when that's going to be. So,
We get enough
yeah.
people asking. We'll
We'll go to a
early,
second
but-
print. Yeah. Go open an eBay store and sell your overstock. If I had any, I would, but I don't. But I am going to sell it on my webpage once I get it revamped, which I got to make that phone call this week.
Yeah.
$293 to go, and we see the puppet. There you go. That's how we bring you guys
Look better
across
than
the
Shelley
finish
does.
line. We're getting good vibes from the puppet. Mighty Joe is here. Ronan is here.
Evil one. Great as a Muppet.
Am
I a Muppet or?
Shelley does great as she is. She's incredibly good as a Muppet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Hank Canals is here. Hey, Hank. Thanks for joining us, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Hank and I go all the way back to our Malibu days, and then, of course, at DC for years. So it's nice to see, see that Hank is watching. Appreciate it, Hank. There you go. Citizen Ronan says, Shelley, get thee some tea with a nip of booze. Vic, I am closing out right here. Biz is the best. Don't forget to plug the Halloween edition of Comic Art Combo this Saturday featuring your favorite low-budget horror movies. I think you just did that for us, Sequential Treasures. I don't know what time it's going to be yet. I got to work around the Nebraska game, of course. But yes, we will be doing our favorite low-budget horror films. It should be a great Halloween extravaganza with me and Sequential Treasures on Comic Art Convo right here on this channel Saturday afternoon at some point. Yeah. Where's Malin? Why isn't he doing some work here? I don't know where Malin's at. I don't actually invite people to join me because I don't want to bother them. Isn't that dumb? I don't mind going on other people's shows, but it's like I don't like, you want to come on my show? I feel kind of dumb, so I don't ever do that, which is dumb in itself. So anyway, Hank, great seeing you. Yes, thank you, Hank. I love your little avatar too. I don't know who drew that, but it's awesome. Okay. All right.
Smash that like button, please.
Smash it hard. Back the campaign. Do all those great groovy things. Shelley's sick.
Yeah.
But she still thinks she's pretty smart, even though she's sick.
Oh, no.
So what she did was she wrote down some information. She's going to have me read it. Unless you don't want to read it with your voice, or do you?
Whatever it is, I'm in, whatever.
Well, I don't even.
I don't have my glasses. But...
You may not be able to read your writing here.
No, go for it.
Okay.
I
can see your face.
Oh, hi, guys.
They're right here. What does it?
Yep.
All right. So we're going to do a what Shelley knows, or Shelley dropping knowledge proxy version. Oh, that's right.
Uh-oh.
I got to read. I was thinking this is my time to eat snacks, and it isn't. Okay, so today, right this moment, we're going to learn some fun facts about our special guest, Chuck Jones. Chuck Jones, of course, is the great animator that worked for Warner Brothers, among other places. Now, did you know, Shelley?
Probably not.
Well, you wrote this down, so you should know, but we're going to play along. But
short-term memory issues. Hey, you're Tony Randall.
He was born September 21st, 1912 in Spokane, Washington, which is just a stone's throw from us, and even closer to some other people in this chat. I won't dox anyone, but there are some people in the Washington area. Now, get a load of this. His mom's name was Mabel.
Your grandma's name was Mabel.
My grandma's name was Mabel. And
go on vacation together.
I used to call her Mabel Syrup. Thought that was pretty funny.
You thought you were pretty funny?
Well, when you're 8, when you're 8 years old, that's funny. Now, this is also kind of interesting. Now, his dad, he described his dad as a failed businessman. But his dad would be constantly starting new businesses. But before he started any new business, he would get stationery and pencils, nice stationery pencils with his new company name on it, right? So he'd order all this stuff. His business would fail, and then he'd have all this paper and pencils. So he'd tell his kids, he'd give it to his kids and say, you better use this stuff up quick because I got to get some new ones. And so he would, every time he started a new business, he'd do this. And this provided the kids with actually some pretty high quality pencils and paper to draw on. And
brilliant.
Chuck Jones said that he had a teacher who told him that everybody has 10,000 bad drawings in their system. They have to get out before the good stuff comes out. So he was very encouraged because he had said he got over 200,000 drawings out.
You had
using
a door
that.
Open there. I was going to say, what number are you on?
Leave it to Shelley, which we'll get to something in a moment. Thanks. That kind of reminds me, but we'll get to it in a moment because we're not done with Chuck yet. Now, he started off as a cell washer for UBI Works, which was a small independent animation house, I guess, back in the early days of Hollywood. But in 1933, he became an assistant animator for Leon Schlesinger Productions. Now, in World War II, get a load of this, he worked with Ted Geisel, also known as Dr. Seuss, on something called Private Snafu, which was educational cartoons for the Army. So they worked together to create these educational cartoons during the war. Now, of course, he went through and had his great success through Warner Brothers and all the cartoons he did there. In 1963, he went to work on the all-new Tom and Jerry cartoons for MGM. A lot of people don't know that. They associate him with Warner Brothers, but he actually did a series of really good Tom and Jerry cartoons. So if you can find the Chuck
Tom and Jerry, actually.
What's that?
We named our cats Tom and Jerry.
When you were kids?
Yes.
Because we don't have cats in this house. I hate cats. But anyway, I thought that was, some of you may know that, some of you may not, but check out his Tom and Jerry cartoons. They're actually really good. Cool. In 1966, of course, he did The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, which is, we all love that. Yeah. And then, of course, if you haven't seen the animated Christmas Carol that he produced, he didn't, I don't believe he directed it, but he did produce it, and it's fantastic. So it's like a 30-minute cartoon, and it's really, really awesome. So there you go.
Man, I know a lot.
That's our little Chuck Jones information that cool. Shelley, if she didn't have a sore throat, would have dropped for you, but instead I did it. And hopefully I did it justice. Not King Justice. Well,
so you have to explain that now. It's a little
okay. Shelley's mom, who no longer with us, but she.
Well, and you have to. My mom had lost at least half of her hearing in both ears as a child, so her listening to music.
That explains a great many things. I didn't know that. Yeah, so she would hear a song and maybe not get the lyrics exactly right.
Butcher them.
And one of them was
Can't Touch This
by Hammer, MC Hammer, right? Mm-hmm. And she didn't think he was saying Can't Touch This. She thought he was saying King Justice. King Justice. So that became an ongoing joke around here that King Justice. Wait a minute. Corey Landis says, yeah, some of us might take that cat thing personally.
Yeah.
Don't take my hatred for cats as anything other than just my personal problem.
You did all right. Josh and Jessica have a cat.
No, I'm okay around cats as long as I don't own them.
Oh.
I'm a dog person, and
Yeah.
you know, I'm not a big
I
cat
don't
person.
mind. Well, I don't know. I haven't had a cat since I was a kid.
Now you may be onto something. There may be a psychological trauma here I'm dealing with.
Oh, perhaps.
I'm transferring my hatred of cats to furry puppets. It could be.
King Justice. Dun.
Jay Nicolasi says, my spirit animal is probably a cat. I relate so much to them. Aaron, see, now I pissed off everybody in the
Wow.
chat. I'm sorry.
Look at those numbers drop.
Yeah, I still.
No more like button for you.
Yeah,
listener.
I still don't like cats.
Only
though.
one likes. You are.
Oh, look at this. Hyper Potato trying to cause trouble.
Peter.
One thing I like to do is if there's an uprising,
Yeah.
I try to put it down quickly. So hopefully that'll take care of that and we can move on. Oh, see, Citizen Ronan's, he doesn't like cats either, so I'm not alone.
Daniel Russell, refunds now. See, sometimes, Aaron, I talk to you about it.
This again is more of a, I think, an insurrection than anything else.
Let's check the campaign just in case. Yeah. 120 Aaron kisses the puppet.
179 Aaron kisses the puppet. That's right. Do I have to? I'd rather kiss my dog. Okay, so now it's time for our Wrightson of the day, Shelley.
Okay.
If I can find it. This one's a good one too.
Ooh, I'm not getting close.
Watch your monitors, please. That, of course, was the splash page to Swamp Thing number 4,
Of course.
Monster of the Moors, where he fights a werewolf.
Mm.
I really like that one because I like how he's kind of like buried in leaves and he's coming out of this. There's a plane wreck behind him, which he was a part of, and he's kind of like coming out of the leaves and everything. And this is a really nice drawing, really effective, moody piece by our good friend, Mr. Bernie Wrightson. And
Cool.
it's kind of shocking to think that splash page is probably worth $100,000.
Yeah. It's in your flat files. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, I wish.
Baby.
I wish it were.
Oh, baby.
It was not. So anyway, that penciled and inked by Wrightson too. So
Nice.
I have nothing but admiration for his first 10 issues of Swamp Thing. They were pretty incredible things. But, you know, Shelley,
Huh.
Josh and I, Josh is my son, had a little father-son time,
Yeah.
little field trip. There was a one-day comic book show called the Frankenstein Comic Book Swap Meet here in Portland, returned after a long hiatus because of COVID, I guess. And so not only did we go to that at the Lloyd Center in downtown Portland, we also went to Dr. Tung's House of Toys, which is back on Sandy Boulevard now. Used to be on Burnside, just across the bridge there, on the east side of Burnside. And we went to his place, and I picked up. Well, actually, I can share it. It's sitting right over here. Picked up a little something for Shelley because Shelley, I've turned her into. I guess I should say not changed her, but turned her into a collector over the years, and so she collects Nightmare Before Christmas toys. And so this is by the Junko company, which is a Japanese company back in the day. These are limited edition, only 2,000. Of course, it's not numbered. Now get a load of this. This was available only, you're going to date yourself here,
That's all right.
Tower Records.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. So this was a Tower Records exclusive. He happened to have one. I bought it and I gave it to my lovely wife.
Cool. And I said, oh, thanks. Okay, I'm going to go back to bed now.
Well,
yeah, I have lots of, well, we used to call it Christmas Scaria.
actually,
I love that movie.
Actually, after I gave that to Shelley, what she said was this.
Nighty
and then went right to bed. But she did say thank you first.
I did.
But you know, the other thing is, I did get something
where
for
else-
you.
You also went to a couple comic book stores.
I
It's
did.
really
We went
when
to
you
the-
find something.
We went to
Like you need money to find
Excalibur on Hawthorne, which has been there
Mhm.
since I was a kid, and probably maybe before that.
something.
And I did get a couple things there, which leads us into
You didn't tell me you bought anything.
well, I didn't. It was just little small things, but let's take a look at them.
Yeah.
We're gonna switch over to the wonderful Razor Kaio.
Yippee
Kaio mum bum 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 bum.
What'd you get? I can come in close now.
Okay, so-
Not too close
Oh my
because I
God.
really need to shower.
All right, here we go. Okay, so first thing I got for the low price of $6 was this double-sized annual, the Mighty Thor double-sized annual number 13. As you can see, a
That's
really
a Simonson cover.
groovy Simonson cover. Indeed, Shelley. Now, this is right during the period of time when he was working on Thor, writing and drawing Thor in his now classic run. So he did the cover, but he didn't do the insides. Okay. John Buscema did the insides. And the reason I got this book was because I saw the ending.
Mhm.
Spoiler alert. I saw this last page image of Mephisto by Buscema. Look at that. And I said, I have got to get this issue and read it.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that.
I mean, come on, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to get one on eBay, but you know, they were
This
more
is better.
expensive. And this is actually in really nice shape. It's not in near mint condition, but I'm not really buying it for value. I'm buying it for the story. And look at
Look at that face.
that's Ulik the Troll.
Oh.
And look at that handsome John Buscema Thor face right there.
Mhm.
Good looking Norwegian god there. These are the kind of panels you love to see as an artist when the writer says, and a big pile of snow fell on a little tiny Thor. And you go, okay, that'll take me about 15 minutes to draw that. So, yeah, so it looks like he's messing around with Ulik. And there's Mephisto being Mephisto-esque. So yeah, I'm really kind of stoked to read this. So anyway, I got that, but wait,
There's more.
there's more. I've got Savage Tales 1 through 5 in really nice condition, but for some strange reason, they dropped Conan out of Savage Tales with issue 6.
That's dumb.
But with issue 6, you get Khazar stories. Now, this is a great Neil Adams cover. And again, this is in nice shape. It's in good shape. You know, it's not like crappy, but I got it for $6. So I'm like, heck yeah.
Oh, it's just black and white.
Yeah. And so,
Duh.
but here's the thing.
The thing.
Let's see here. Gosh darn
The
it.
table of contents. You know it's really big then.
That's right. I don't know who drew that. I can't tell.
Guy's
But
hand's
anyway,
too small.
there's a tremendous Buscema, once again,
Oh.
Khazar story in here. The Damnation Plague. So it's kind of about COVID,
I think I
guess.
have that.
Yeah, it could be COVID. I'm not sure who inked this. Is that Duzaniga?
No, Henna.
I guess, let's see. The Damnation Plague was, tell me who worked on it. That's just outrageous. They didn't
Egregious.
have the credits on here.
Probably is, but you can't.
Oh, here it is. John Buscema and Tony DeZanuga. How about that? Huh? Yeah, I know my stuff.
Golly,
So this is
mister.
really kind of a nice looking. Ooh, look, there's dinosaurs in here.
Dinosaurs.
So I just wanted to read some of these John Buscema Khazar stories in here, which is exactly what I'm going to do. And I don't know if they're all Khazar. Look, they're advertising Khazar #1, which I have.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, is this just one big? This might be just one big Khazar story in here. That's pretty. I think it is. Night of the Looters, starring Khazar.
It's like fire tonight.
Is it?
Yep.
Are we over?
Yep.
Well, let's take a break out of this real quick and check the old
I
screen.
shouldn't have looked at the comments, but I did.
That's not what I wanted to do.
No.
That's not what I wanted to do either. Eventually I'll hit the right button and then we can
Maybe
all
not.
celebrate.
I just refreshed, but you can do again.
Here we go. Survey says 12016.
Wow.
Woo! Now I want to say, so I didn't say this and I wish I had said it now because it's like me claiming like I, had some sort of like great insight, but I can't really prove it.
Right.
But I figured, I do like to do figuring.
Do some figuring.
I thought if we got to 1750 backers, it would take us to 120. And it did. Look at that.
Wow.
Thank you all so much.
So
But
much.
don't stop there. Let's keep it rolling.
Make sure to share with your friends.
That's right. Because this goes till,
We could do like a referral thing. I don't know if they do that. But...
Well, no, actually, I get a listing of referrals, like how many people signed up for me kind of thing. So I haven't looked at it in a while, but I guess I will do that.
Try to do something with that. But
yeah. But right now,
thanks,
thank you guys so
much.
much. That is,
and if I live long enough
awesome.
to see it, it's going to be a great day.
But let's keep looking at Kazar for a minute, shall we?
Kiss that puppet old man when he gets it back on camera.
But yeah, so this looks like one big long. It's all Kazar stories in here.
Cool.
Well, except this one. This is The Dragon Seed by Steve Gann. Steve Gann's actually pretty good. I haven't seen him for a while. But anyway, so we have another barbarian story, then yet another Kazar story. So we have by Buscema. And it looks like Buscema inked this himself. So how about that? I mean, there's some good stuff in here.
Mm-hmm.
$6.
Nice.
So I'm, so
That's
I picked
your
that up.
anniversary present, $6.
Yep. She spared no expense.
Nope. Nothing but the finest.
But I'm not done yet, Shelley.
All right.
Check this out. Okay, so then I got Savage Tales number 7. This is a nice looking copy again.
Yeah.
Boris Vallejo cover. Are you kidding me?
Mm.
And we have 2 all new, all great epics of the Savage Land. So let's take a look here. This is Alcala. Doing the spread here, Alfredo Alcala.
Uh-huh.
So let's go in here and see another exciting Kazar story. Takes off where the other one left off with the dinosaur attacking.
No wonder you love the dinosaurs.
Of course. Art by John Buscema and Tony DeZanuga again. So this is a continuation of that story from the first one.
Cool.
And then we've got, what do we got here? Okay, this is the story. All right. Look at these look at these rubber masks you used to be able to get.
Yeah.
Creature from the Black Lagoon. Shelley, you could have got this for $1.98.
Wow.
Mr.
And then I could
Goof
appear on camera because I could just wear it.
The mask. Exactly. Oh, look at Brack the Barbarian. He's got some babes waving at him.
Babelicious.
Steve Gann.
He's a chick magnet.
Yep. Well, everybody knows Brack the Barbarian. The chicks dig it.
Oh, yeah.
And then we go back. We have yet another. Look at this. I didn't know this. John Buscema inked by Krusty Bunkers. You know who Krusty Bunkers is, Sean?
No, but
that's
that
Neil Adams.
name.
Neil Adams and his buddies. So this is essentially
this group.
It's like Neil Adams and Dick Giordano and guys of that ilk.
Uh-huh.
So basically, this is a John Buscema inked by Neil Adams story. And wow, who would want for more?
Not me.
Looks like Kazar is making it with some chick up here.
Mm.
So yeah, there's just nothing but good, wholesome fun in here.
Just nothing but. I can't believe I've been upright for 45 minutes. I am a rock star.
Well, and I'm not done with you yet, so you can't flee the scene yet. So anyway, that's
Nice.
what I got.
Aaron bought.
That's what I bought, and I spent $18 on all of that.
Where's my change then?
Oh, we're not done. I got something on eBay.
All right.
It's actually gonna be my anniversary present.
I was very nice. What I do yesterday?
You gave me money.
Yeah.
Well, for my anniversary present,
500 smackaroos, man.
Do you want to know how much I paid for your jewelry? Okay. So yeah, so that was like
receipt in the bag though.
She was going to. Oh. Yeah. So I got her some jewelry for our 30th anniversary, and she said, "Well, I'll get you a comic book." And so I've been trying to figure out which one I want. So she gave me the cash, and which is funny because she took it out of my wallet. So I don't know
I
if
did
okay, that's not
not.
true. And but I'm about to make a purchase on eBay, and then then I'll show it when I get it.
Do with that because I've been saving money for what 8 years to get a tummy tuck and stuff and stuff, and now insurance is going to pay for it. I mean, what a great bargain! All you have to do is get breast cancer and get new boobs and a tummy tuck.
Yep, it's an incredible thing.
And so I had this cash laying around, and I'm so amazed I haven't spent it.
I believe he's under the weather. Calbeer 66, but not dangerously so or anything. So that's why you haven't seen him. And that's why we're not doing a stream tonight, probably with him, because he's not feeling it. So it's okay. He's done more than enough.
Yes.
For
if
us.
You're feeling it, hit the like button, please, and subscribe, and tell your friends, and tell people that you don't even like.
Yeah.
That'd be all right too.
Yeah, exactly. So
are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
I've got a list of things we need to do here. So we just did What Did Aaron Buy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now check out this groovy Precious Moment, Shelley. You really like this one.
Those are my favorites.
If I can find it. Oh.
That one? No.
Drink. Good.
I'm just.
That wasn't very precious.
Here it is. Watch your monitors, please.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to embarrass you, but I'm a rather brilliant surgeon. Perhaps I could help you with that hump.
What hump?
Let's go.
Let's go.
I could literally do every scene from that movie because I just love that movie. It's so funny. That, of course, was Young Frankenstein. I did promise a guest appearance by Gene Wilder, and I just provided it. I delivered the goods.
Folks.
All right. So, speaking of our anniversary,
Now,
what I've been doing the last couple weeks is I've been finding like clips old clips, like when we were dating, like your eating problem and your drinking, your table manners and stuff.
Oh no, what'd you find now?
Well, I found this one, and this is something that Shelley said to me very, very early on in our relationship. In fact, it might have been on our first date. So here it is. Watch your monitors.
So nearly perfect. If you only had a living brain.
Oh, was that before or after you didn't have any money to pay?
That might have been after I forgot to get money at the on our first date. You're nearly perfect. If only you had. Am I doing Kirk? Yeah. If only you had a living brain. Spock had a brain.
Found you one.
Spock's brain.
Abby something.
Abby normal, I think. All right. So yeah. So those are some of the things that Shelley would say to me back in the early days. And
I'm probably going to come up again.
And
just saying.
So nearly perfect. If you only had a living brain.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things you may or may not know about Shelley, I know about Shelley, is that you're not afraid of water, but you're afraid of our kids around water, right?
I have water issues for sure.
Yeah, like drowning, you fear of drowning, right?
Yes.
Well, I didn't know where this came from. I know she's had it her whole life, but I did a little research.
Oh, you did?
I was able to find actually a video clip of you in college. Now, see, when we both went to Oregon State. I only went for 1 year, then I transferred to USC, but you went for 4 years, played volleyball there.
No, I went for 3.
3 years, played volleyball there, whatever. Again, with the math. Now, they used to have these parties where they would go and spend the weekend down at, what was the lake? On the houseboats?
Lake Shasta.
Lake Shasta, right. And this may be where Shelley got her fear of water. So let's take a look at this clip. And this is from Shelley in college at Lake Shasta. Let's take a look at this.
Shoot! What beats can I hit Kane?
That may be
Maybe.
what caused her.
I
her fear
was
of water.
voted best wipeout.
See,
Water skiing.
and I think
but
your nickname was
yes.
K too, wasn't it? Back when you were in college, they called you
I
K.
think my nickname was Save the Beer. But that's how I swam. One arm to save the beer.
So anyway, yeah, that may
Nice
explain. Yeah, I had to do some digging to find that.
Yeah.
But let's see here.
No, my water ski's when I was in grade school, like younger, little, what am I, like first, second grade-ish, I think. My sister and I got hit by a sneaker wave, knocked us over and was dragging us out. And I could still remember my mom standing on the beach screaming. And yeah, so I do have, especially at the beach. I don't, yeah.
Yeah, and they throw in sharks in there, and it's just not a good
Although
mix.
then I was a lifeguard in college. So you know what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a strange thing. Aaron Lopresti, what about the other stories teased in the back of Wraith of God Volume 1? Are those coming? Oh, they could be. They could be. That was kind of, I wanted you guys to kind of get a sneak preview of everything that is going on in the Lopresti verse. And, you know, eventually, I don't know if I'll get to all of them. We'll see how everything plays out, but more of that stuff is coming and will be featured as like backup stories and things like that as Wraith of God moves forward. But yeah. Which ones I'm not sure exactly. I'm going to use. Some of them I know, and some I'm not. Haven't made up my mind yet. Paul
Henry
says one of the greatest comedies ever. Of course, he's referring to Young Frankenstein,
not us,
not Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
Henry
Or
says,
us.
"Hail, Aaron and Shelley." That's nice.
Henry Throon.
Yeah.
Thank you, Henry. Appreciate that.
And then when are you really closing out? So what tonight just signifies the end of.
The campaign goes is live for you can do it up to 60 days. I do it for 45 days. Then you have the option of either just ending the campaign or leaving it open like a store, which they call in demand, which is what I will do, so that people always discover these campaigns late, sometimes months after they've come out. Some people are like, yeah, I want to back, but I don't trust you. So I want to wait until this thing goes to the printer and all that kind of stuff. So being a true businessman, I leave the opportunity open. But what you see is, like in the original art perks, that stuff gets sold and it's gone. Yeah. Some of the printings for the first issue,
backstock, whatever.
Yeah. Or, you run out of them. Garbage Man, eventually I'm going to run out of those. So, and we encourage you guys to back early and often, but to back early because that actually allows us to do the project. And there's stuff on there that will be gone later. Yeah. So
they're open for a full story of the nightclub. Nice.
Well, you guys will get a backup and then you can let me know what you think.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I'm going to judge going forward on which IPs to expand first, by which ones you guys like, and some of them you may not like. What else you got? And I got plenty.
And also, it looks like Projectile Reptile also is in demand today. So nice job, Dojo Kun. I love that Projectile Reptile.
Oh, okay. Let me click that up there. Now, the interesting thing about this, the in-demand thing, is John Malin doesn't do it.
Yeah.
He goes like 60 days and that's it. And because he wants his books to be, I guess, more collectible. And so he cuts them off. I want as many readers as possible. So I have a different perspective than he does. But hey, when you raise
that or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
You raise $250,000 in the first 60 days, you probably feel pretty comfortable about shutting it down. So, anyway, let's see here. Let's see. Okay. So I just wanted to get some of that stuff about Shelley out of the way because I know there's a lot of questions about her.
Yeah.
And I tried to answer as many as I can.
What happened to her immune system?
Oh, exactly. Okay. Now here's something interesting.
Yep. Finally. Oh,
I watched like, I don't listen to Joe Rogan's podcast like
religiously all the time.
You're right, and the full episode, because some of them are pretty long and everything. Yeah. But I do like to find tidbits. And he had Rick Baker on there. Rick Baker, the makeup artist, designer, makeup designer who did American Werewolf of London, among other things. And I found some stuff that I wanted to share with you guys, being the Halloween season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's a little interesting factoid for you, Shelley.
Bring it.
E.T., the extraterrestrial Spielberg
I'm
movie,
aware of it.
wasn't originally E.T. It was originally going to be a movie called Night Skies. Now, it was about some like not so friendly aliens that came into contact with Earth. Now, what happened was apparently, and I was trying to find some details, but couldn't. I might have read them like 20 years ago in a Fangoria magazine or something, but Rick Baker and Spielberg were at odds over something with the film. And Spielberg fired Rick Baker and then hired Carlo Rimbaldi, who designed the E.T. character, and the movie became something totally different. It became E.T. But I found, and this is no joke, I found some test footage of what the original aliens from Night Skies look like. So we're going to take a look at that. So watch this. This is pretty cool. And I assume Rick Baker did the design on these, although I can't confirm it. But here we go. Here's the test footage number 1 from Night Skies. Okay, so those are the creepy aliens, but there's more.
Wait.
I found another one that actually showed more full figure of the aliens. So let's take a look at that.
Ew. Oscar loves it.
Now, see, I love finding stuff like that. Now, our son, our 28-year-old, 29-year-old engineer son, used to work at Legacy Special Effects down in Burbank, where they would make stuff like that. And he would be the guy with the, you might see the hand up there, moving the puppet around and doing some of the engineering. In fact, they strapped they were testing out, they were doing this short film with these like weird bug alien things. And so they tested out this effect where like the bug's tail or something would, if it was on your back, it would go through your back and shoot out your chest, right? So they had this inflatable, like spiny thing coming out of his chest. It was part of this whole backpack thing. And so he put it on, the alien was on his back, he strapped it on there, and then they would like inflate it instantly, right? So it looked like it was ripping through his chest, and then blood would go. So he did test shots of, with them doing that before they actually went out and shot it. And of course, he tells the story where he was back there pumping blood. Yeah. And the director kept going, "We need more blood,
Josh, more blood."
He's back there. Just
goes a sentence that he never thought he'd hear in his life.
Yes.
We need more blood, Josh.
Corey Landis says creepy, but not as creepy as E.T. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. I'm a Stan Winston guy. I like that he never talked about himself. It was always about his team. Well, Stan Winston, Rick Baker and Stan Winston are like two. Well, then Dick Smith too. I mean, Dick Smith, I should do a whole thing on like makeup artists, because Dick Smith really sort of pioneered the whole air bladder effect that was used to create the werewolf, American Werewolf in London effects. If you saw a movie called with William Hurt called
oh, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you know that movie?
Yeah.
Where they did that stuff?
Mm-hmm. That one time.
And he went into the LSD chamber and became a caveman.
Well, it was the
primal. No, what was it called? Somebody help me out.
They'll know.
Yeah, you guys will know.
But he was in that deprivation tank.
Right.
Yeah.
And he came out and he was a caveman because he actually went in altered states. I was going to say because it altered his duh. And so there was scenes. Excuse my hairy werewolf arm.
Use your arm.
Where he would be looking at his forearm and it would bubble and ripple. Mm-hmm. And those were air bladders that they put underneath fake skin on his arm to create that effect. And Dick Smith was the guy that sort of pioneered that. If I'm correct in my knowledge, that he was the pioneer for that stuff. So, LSD chamber, you know it, baby.
It was a deprivation.
Why does he know so much about LSD?
Question mark. I never heard it was LSD chamber.
Yeah, they used to. Yeah, back in the 60s, they would drop acid and then float in those chambers.
Oh.
And at the beginning of the movie of Altered States, they were out like in some Indian reservation looking for some sort of wild peyote LSD stuff.
Mm.
And they found it and then started using it in these
It could
chambers.
use morning glories.
That's true. Do you know if your dog eats morning glories, it's like LSD to them and they get wasted?
We had a drug addict puppy.
We did. Yes, you're right. The Howling also, but that was Rob
That's what I was
Bottin.
thinking when you talked about the.
Yeah, but this was prior. Altered States was prior to those two
Mm.
movies. Oh, I didn't know that. Universal is doing a new Monsterland in Orlando.
Oh.
Wow, how about that? Christina Lynn, she likes the aliens. Ew. So I just wanted to give Rick Baker a shout out because I'm a big fan of his stuff. And it was actually, if you can find that Joe Rogan podcast, it's like on YouTube. There's like just different segments from it. It's really interesting stuff. So anyway, well, Shelley,
Yeah.
I'm going to draw now.
Awesome.
And
I'm going to go to bed for a little bit.
actually,
I'm gonna take a shower.
wait.
I can manage.
Wait, before
What?
I draw, there's one more thing I have to do. I'm kind of hungry.
Right.
No, that's not what I got to
That's
do.
not it.
We have to do this. Shoot. So close.
So close.
All right, let's take a look at what I got in the old flat file, shall we?
Well, I'll check in later.
Shelley's going to run for the bed.
To the bed.
All right. This is a blank piece of paper. Don't get too excited. Okay. Now, some of you may know, some of you may not know that I did a story in the Plastic Man special. And I penciled and inked this myself. And so we have Woozy Winks here. Let me get in here a little bit closer. All right. So there's a cop holding a megaphone. So you can see the stripes on the megaphones. That's a dead giveaway what's about to happen. And you got Woozy Winks down here. The villains are these guys are like the Brotherhood of the Caribou or something. And then Plastic Man is actually the megaphone. And the cop's like, Plastic Man, ugh, what part of you was I holding on to? So I kept most of the pages from the story. I did sell some. I wish I'd kept all of them actually now. But the interesting thing to note about this is I was looking a lot at Kevin Nolan at the time I did this. And so I was trying to kind of mimic a bit how he was doing his blacks and black placement for shadows and stuff. It's not totally obvious, but you can see it here and there. And, down in here stuff. But this right in here, I think is really sort of kind of Nolan-esque, at least in terms of how I approached it. So when I talk about, artistically speaking, when you have artists that you look at that you're not necessarily trying to copy their style, but there's things that they do that you like, and you try to incorporate that in your own way into your work so that you're sort of like, I'm getting this from Kevin Nolan, but it doesn't look like I'm aping Kevin Nolan. It looks like I was influenced maybe by him, right? And that's what you want, right? Now, the interesting thing about this also is you'll notice these word balloons and captions and everything are on the artwork. So this would have been mid-90s. So they were still doing this, and but not for long. but so this whole story I have of, it's like a 10-page story. I think I sold 2 pages out of it. So I still have 8 pages because I penciled and inked it myself. So I got all the artwork back. But yeah, so I still have like 8 pages of this. And I'm a huge Plastic Man fan, but this is the only time I ever got to do Plastic Man. So it's kind of cool. But it's cool that I actually have some art that I worked on that was actually lettered on the boards. So what fun. Now this was actually, this title was actually a stat was made and it was glued and pasted down. So I don't know if there's, this whole box actually is glued. It's like the box is glued down on here, and then this lettering is glued onto the box, which is glued onto the board. So I don't know if they tried to hand letter something underneath here and they didn't like the way it looked, so they did it again and then glued it down. I don't know. But I love these bullseyes. They were clear when they first did them, these registration marks. It's basically taped on there, and they've turned yellow over the years. But yeah, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that this feels like, old-fashioned, real comic book art. So I thought I would share that with you. So let's pull that out of there. I got crap laying everywhere. Brody Leembruggen says, what size is that paper? That's 11 by 17. I feel Robert Murdoch says, I feel there have been less streams lately. You're probably right. A lot of people have been gone doing conventions, last conventions of the year. A lot of us, as our campaigns are kind of winding down a little bit, we're ramping up our work. And so you got more people working and less people streaming. All right, let's take a look at this. This is what we're going to work on today. And by we, I mean me. This was going to be a splash page in the issue. And as much as I love the pose, I thought this is kind of cool looking of the Wraith, it wasn't really correct or right for the story. So I canned it, but I wanted to save it because I kind of like the pose. I just shoved pie in my mouth. So now I'm thinking I might use it for the back cover of the book. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we are going to work on right now. Mighty Joe, I still letter my pages for inks. Well, the good thing is, if you can do your own lettering, that's great. But if you have to send it off to somebody, it's a hassle, especially when you're self-publishing, because that's like an expense an extra expense you don't want is, shipping stuff FedEx back and forth. You'd end up spending hundreds of dollars just in shipping costs back and forth. So I thought about it. I really did, about this issue of Wraith, having it lettered on the board. But I just didn't want the hassle of having to ship the artwork back and forth and then do the pencils. And then I send them the script, and I am notorious for changing my scripts, like up to the last minute, like changing dialogue and tweaking stuff. And it's really easy if it's digital just to go, hey, change that word balloon to this, as opposed to, oh, great, I got this hand lettered and I changed my mind. So that's why I didn't do it. Brody says, did you do that, Aaron? I assume he's talking about the Plastic Man. Yes, I did. Penciled and inked it. Yeah, I can't remember if that was in the script or if I put that in there myself. I probably put it in there myself. I don't know. I know Ethan's a huge fan of Plastic Man, and so am I. And here's a funny story. I was constantly bugging Dan DiDio about doing a Plastic Man story. And he said, no, he goes, Ethan's got that earmarked. So, so basically I could not do a Plastic Man story because he had promised Ethan that he would let him do it, and Ethan never got around to doing it. So as a result, neither of us got to do it. But this is way before. This probably was when Ethan was working on X-Men at Marvel. Like I said, this is like the mid 90s. He might have been doing Cyber Frog, for all I know at that point. Well, let's see here. Yeah, the Plus-Tech scanners are not bad at all. There are some large format scanners that actually are pretty affordable. The one I have is not. I got an Epson 12,000 XL. Excuse me. Is that an Epson? It's an Expression 12,000 XL. I think it is. Excuse me. And it ain't cheap. But there are cheap flatbed 11x17 scanners that work completely fine. You probably don't get the longevity out of them, but they do work. Look at Paul. He's saying it's not worth it to stick to Warren Montgomery. I am sticking to Warren Montgomery. He's a local guy here that does a really nice job. So, all right. Before I put pencil to paper, let's take a quick look at campaign, see where we're at. All right. Survey says blink 123.03. Excellent. Thank you guys so much. We're at 1754 backers. Let's see if we can squeeze that up to 1760. Why not? Just for recreational purposes. I'll have you guys also know that I am working on page 10 of the Wraith of God story. I've got 2 pages of Garbage Man done, and I've got 8 pages of Kit Carter done. So I am progressing. But I'm probably not going to jump in and do anything else until Wraith of God is finished, and then I'll finish up the other stories one at a time. And as I always do, I'll keep you guys updated weekly on my progress, so you know exactly where I'm at and what the heck I'm doing. All right. Let's see if I can get this. Come on. Is anybody getting car sick yet? Why is this not sticking up here? That's what I want right there. Okay. So I thought maybe his head looked a little small. So I kind of want to get this the head and the body the right proportion here, even though a lot of it's going to be black. The challenging thing, well, I should say one of the challenging things about doing this is that trying to get this hat brim, whenever they're kind of looking down, you don't want that brim to go down too far that it covers up their eyes, right? So you're constantly trying to adjust the head angle so it doesn't get tilted too far down. Okay, so I'm going to kind of work my way through, like this forearm is way too long. It's better. Work through my proportions here. The hands are too big, but I actually kind of like that look a little bit. You guys are not going to get perfect perspective on this because the camera's tilted, but and off to the side a little bit, but you'll get the general idea. Okay, so let's see if his waist is probably going to be right about there. Rib cage is here. It's Abe Lincoln. It's Revenge of Abe Lincoln. Mark Sunga says bad ass. Oops. That's all right. We'll let it slide. Oh my gosh. Do we have a porn bottle ready? Drop Plastic Man cosplaying as Wraith of God. That's pretty funny. I like that. You did a great Plastic Man cover, though. Thank you very much, Paul. That is true. There was a miniseries. I think Gail Simone wrote it a couple years ago, and I did the cover in the first issue. Sell it as a print, he says. We'll see. Ultimately, what I end up using it for, because I really do like the pose, the body language, that kind of stuff, and that's why I thought, well, I'll use it as a back cover illustration. And we'll get some of this flowing cape going here. Not really a cape, it's his duster jacket. I know he's got a gun holster here, which would probably do some foreshortening. And there's another gun here. Originally, it was on top of something here. Like I said, I was going to use it in the story and then change my mind because it didn't really work for what I needed. I needed an action shot of him, not kind of a posing shot. So, but I liked it so much, I didn't want to just dump it. So what we'll do is we'll turn this into like maybe a cliff or something, a rock ledge. You can have all sorts of bushes and things like that. I wonder if it might be kind of interesting to put a snake here. Be kind of cool, wouldn't it? A rattlesnake or something. I'm gonna have to get my snake reference out because I want to make sure that head looks right, but always have to figure out, where I want to put in white lines and details, because obviously I don't want this all to be black, but I'm going to have a majority of it be black. Move in a little bit here. So let's say we have a full moon right here. Of course, that's going to give us our light source. So keep this side Of course, I'll do my cross hatching over here. This will be the solid black area over here. He's kind of got this tattered scarf around his neck, although you can't really tell because it's all going to be black. He does have a vest, so I'll indicate that. Put our buttons in here. Oops. Start from the bottom. Get them spaced right. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Indicate some wrinkles in this vest. Actually indicate quite a few wrinkles in this vest. He's got a shirt underneath here. So he's got he'd have like a belt on his pants, but then he has 2 gun belts as well. Got our wrinkles. So basically all this is going to be black, but it'll have some white highlights in it to indicate maybe some wrinkles or give it a little bit of texture so it's not just a completely black mass. I kind of feel like maybe he should have a gun in one of these hands. Problem is I don't know if I have enough room for what I have his. What I could do is pull this in. Have his arm come out here. Give me a little more room. Something like that. when I was working in commercial art, I always used to use these sort of comic book tropes, like this leg, right? And how that calf just is sort of, it's kind of bendy like that. And they would always go, "Oh, your figures are made out of rubber." And I went, yeah, they are. But it just goes to show you the difference in mentality between someone who's a straight commercial artist and then someone who is, either working in comics, has worked in comics, or is desiring to work in comics. And then, you get this weird sort of rubbery exaggeration to the figure that artists that do, try to do realistic work, they just don't get. It's like, why are you doing that? I'm doing it for style. Okay, so let's pull back, get a wide view of this. So you can see this is on its way to being kind of a cool drawing. Evil One says $2. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Back. My dad told me I'm just making you rich. That's something my dad would say too. And I go, well, Dad, I'm actually getting something for the money. I'm not just giving him money. But when Wrightson's A Look Back book came out, I was 78 or 79, probably 79. Well, but the funny thing is, they pre-ordered that book before it went to press. Okay. So basically it was they treated it like a crowdfunder. They put these ads in like the Comic Book Buyer's Guide, which was a weekly newspaper back in the day. And they wanted you to pre-order this book because the guy needed the money to go to the printer. Right. So in a lot of ways, they crowdfunded A Look Back. And I had to pay 6 months in advance, 8 months in advance. I don't even know if they were done putting the book together, right, where they were soliciting it. And so, I cut out my coupon out of the buyer's guide and mailed it in. And it was 100. The version I got was the signed numbered edition, signed and numbered limited edition. It had a print, a vampire print on the inside front cover, inside the book that was tipped in. And it was a full color print, signed and numbered by Wrightson. It was 200 of them or something like that. And I got one of those, but they were $125. I think the regular edition was 75 or something. And this is back in 1979. So it was expensive. And my parents were just you're just sending, this money out to this guy. I'm grabbing the book. Since I'm talking about it, we might as well take a quick look at it. So you're sending the money out to this guy to get this book, right? And then I had to wait 8 months before it showed up. And my dad was like, "Are you out of your mind?" Kind of like you, Evil One. Now, I ended up selling it, the one I bought. This is really the dumb part of the story. I sold the one I got because I had almost a complete Wrightson collection of printed material. I didn't have any original art. But when I was 18, I sold almost all of it. In fact, I think I did sell all of it. One, because I saw a story he did in National Lampoon that was I thought was really disgusting. And I was just at 18, I had a hard time separating the artist from the subject matter that maybe they were dealing with, or the artist from the art, kind of thing. And then plus I was using him so much as a crutch in everything I did. Every time I came into a problem with my drawing, I would go check and see what Wrightson did to solve the problem. And so I was just becoming too much of a Wrightson clone. So that coupled with the disappointing story that I saw him do, we'll just leave it at that. And so I sold everything, including this book. And those books right now with the print in them, it's signed and numbered print by Wrights, they're like $1,000, or 1,500 or something. And so I had to buy this one back, which was this is just a regular edition version of it. It doesn't have the print in there, but nice little red leather binding. I mean, it's a nice book. And so it was like it was either right here that the print was attached, or yeah, I think it was right here on this page right here is where they attached the color print that was signed by Wrightson. But anyway, I got this on eBay, and as it turns out, this guy apparently got Wrightson to sign it. And this is an old signature because it's Bernie with the I, not the IE. Now, he originally spelled his name with an IE, but apparently there was like an Olympic diver or something named Bernie Wrightson, and he didn't want him to be confused with this diver. So he dropped the E and just went with the I, the Bernie with an I. And that's the Bernie Wrightson that I knew and loved. And then he later in his life, he went back to the IE, which was actually the correct spelling of his name. But anyway, since this was signed with just the I have to imagine this was signed prior to 1980 or maybe 84. I'm trying to think of when he first started using the IE again. But anyway, so this had an old signature in it. So anyway, so I got a signed one. This still cost me, I think I got a good deal on this. I think I paid around 300 for it, or a little less than 300. So I bought the original one for 125 when I was, 1979, 78. And then I bought it again for 3 times as much money, and it didn't even have the extra stuff in it. So valuable lesson learned, I guess. But anyway, it's a great book. If you have not experienced it, like I said, you can't even touch just the regular ones for, between $300 and $400, let alone the slip-cased, signed, limited edition ones that I had originally. Those are super expensive. Let's see what the old chat is saying. Aaron B, using that back in the day old school eraser. He's of course referring to these pink pencil tops. I get these at Blix, and I mentioned this before. They're not coated. The ones you get like for school, don't use those because they're coated and they just smear the pencil. These are uncoated and they work great. And the reason I use them is they're not great for erasing big, large areas. But if you have to do like detail erasing in just a small area, you can use that tip to get in and just erase small areas without wiping out the entire drawing. So, Aaron, can you please show the 2 double-page spreads of Swamp Thing? Are you talking about in the book? Are there 2 double-page spreads of Swamp Thing in there? The way you shaded his mask, he now looks like that umbrella guy. Hey there, I don't get that. But Sequential Treasures, of course, is a pop culture madman. I am not quite as I used to be. There's a chance. There is a chance. Yeah, 120 was a lot back in. I can hear that's what didn't include the shipping either. So yeah, I think it was probably ended up being like 130, 135 bucks or something. Yeah. I mean, I had to ask their permission if I could spend my money on it. And my mom was always great. She was always like, if you think it'll help you with your art, then you do it. My dad's like, are you out of your mind? Get a real job. It's nice to know that that dads haven't changed. I see. I always encouraged my son to spend his money on collectibles. My dad would never have. He could not understand why I was wasting all my money. I mean, I spent every dime I made till I was 16 and got my first car on comics. I mean, every penny. And he could not understand it. In fact, he didn't get what I was doing until we went to a Portland Trailblazers game, basketball team here, the NBA. They were playing at Seattle. Seattle still had a team. And we rode the bus up. There was like this Blazer bus, that we could get tickets and they would take us up to the game. And so we went up to watch this game. And when I told him how much I was making, my dad was a meat cutter. He worked for Safeway and he was a meat cutter. And so he didn't make a ton of money. And he actually worked 2 jobs. He also did door weather stripping, which is they don't do anymore anyway, because we all have metal doors and that stuff comes weather stripped with a stripping on the side of it. But back in the day when you had, wooden doors and stuff, my dad would do that weather stripping, and it actually was really good. And unlike the crap that comes with the door these days. But so he would do that on his days off. So he worked 2 jobs basically, just to, make ends meet. And, but anyway, so we were going up to this Blazer game and I told him how much money I was making, which wasn't a ton at the time. It's never been a ton, let me be honest. But I was actually making more money than he was. And that's when he finally said, oh, okay, I guess what you're doing is legit. So, but yeah, my mom, hang on a second. I'll finish that sentence. My mom was always super supportive of my art. My dad he wasn't not supportive. He just didn't get it. So he was just kind of made his sort of like grumbly comments in the background. Okay, this is not real YouTube. This is a replica gun that I bought so that I could have reference. So a lot of times I'll, just do this, right? See, what does that look like? Me holding the gun. I'll put it down like this, actually. But it does fire. These are so cool. Like $60. And this thing is like metal. It's heavy. It's heavy metal. Okay, so anyway. So I will literally do this, hold the gun like this. And I've drawn these guns like a million times already, but it's just like, I don't know, they're just not, it's not something that sticks in my mind. Mechanical stuff, I'm very organic. And when I'm doing mechanical stuff, it just doesn't stick with me. Because to be honest with you, I have zero interest in it. Drawing trees and cliffs and things like that, to me, that's sort of freewheeling imagination. Where this is, oh, I got to draw this exactly right. So I'll go back in and tighten that up a little bit, but I kind of wanted to get the right shape in there for it. Gun barrel's taking me right to the edge of the page. So I will save this guy for later. Kenneth Roquefort is amazing at drawing guns. His Battleblick road cover is out of this world. Indeed. He's, yeah, I love his stuff. He has that sort of cool, he's not European, but he does, his work sort of evokes that sort of feeling. And just the detail and the little gadgetry and it's just, yeah, I love his stuff. I first discovered it on, I was working on Damage, which was one of those, they weren't called New Universe, but they were basically DC's New Universe books. And he was doing one of those books. And I saw his work and I was like, I didn't think too much of the series that he was working on. It didn't really interest me. But I looked at his artwork and I was like, geez, this is good. Indicating this sort of the shoulder flap that's on like a duster, an Australian duster. It's always kind of hard to figure out how much of that to indicate and how much of it just going to blend in with the rest of his coat. So I'll draw it in there, but I may not, may not all get inked in. Like this line right here may not. I might leave a little bit of white to indicate some of that shape, but probably not all of it. Every time I do these these little hatchy motions like this, it shakes the camera, so I apologize for that. I always have to go back and check check my reference. I mean, the costume seems like it would be easy enough, but with the gun belts and everything, I try to keep them the same. And take a look at Leyendecker and again Wrightson on drapery, because those guys, those next level stuff. I gotta grab something. Hang on. Splash page from the first Wraith of God, but I can see his belt. Oops. And all of his costume accoutrements. on that one, and that's what I use for reference. I find that if you kind of sort of keep winging the reference, that eventually it's going to evolve and change. So like his costume on page, 60, maybe slightly different than his costume on page 1. And then if you start using page 60 as reference, it's going to be a little bit different. And then you start using the next one, next page is a little, as reference. It's going to continue to evolve and not be the same. So I like to go back to the first page I drew, because I don't really do character designs all that much. Like I'll do rough designs, but I won't like do turnarounds, which I should do, but I don't. And so, the first big splash page or first big drawing of the character is going to be the one that has all the specific details to his costume. So that's what I go back and reference rather than having a set of turnarounds, which is basically a shot from the side, front, and back of any particular character so you know what the costume looks like. I just generally don't do that stuff because I feel like it's a colossal waste of time, which it isn't, but it feels that way. It's like, well, I could be working on a page right now instead of working on that. So I generally don't do them. So I do my design work on the first page, and when I figure it out, that becomes my turnaround, basically. Let's see. The cape on a drover is relatively small. Right. I'm talking about the shoulder thing. Right. But I tend to exaggerate that as well. Not quite as bad as, say, like McFarlane would exaggerate the length of a cape or something, but that's why I don't want to indicate it exactly accurately as it would be, because and that's why I'll blacken in a lot of it, because then I can get longer shapes and tattered shapes and things like that make it way more interesting looking. You're probably right. I'll go in there and mess with it when I get to it. No, I mean, that's a smart thing to do. It's like if you're doing like perspective and stuff, laying down a perspective grid on your paper is the smart thing to do, because it will save you time in the long run. But I always talk myself out of saving time in the long run, because it takes so much time at the beginning that I feel like I don't need to be that specific with it. And then you end up erasing and redrawing and stuff because you didn't take the time to begin with to do it right. So I admit it. I'm notorious for doing that. And I have been doing this long enough, and I'm old enough that I ain't going to change now. And every time I do it and mess up, I'm like, oh, I should have done this or should have done that. And yet I never do. I don't cut corners, but I don't like being unproductive. And like I said, you could argue that's being productive, doing layouts and stuff like that. Or not layouts, but doing the early design work and being really specific and spending a couple weeks or whatever getting everything designed. And you've got kind of a playbook to go by. But I'm just like, I just feel like I need to be moving forward and working on the pages. So again, one of my my many flaws as an artist. I have to flip this belt a little bit. And I might bring it up higher. That might be the solution. So it'd probably be more like that. But even drawing stuff as, non-complex as a belt drives me nuts. So it's like, that's why I like skin tight costumes without any sort of extra baggage on them. So I'm just doing figure work with a design on it. I could never understand that fad, that 90s fad where, of putting all this extra gear and crap on these superheroes. Because then you had to draw it all the time and you had to memorize it. And I know there's a lot of people out there that actually like drawing tech. I mean, that's kind of something they do. And I'm just not that guy. I didn't grow up in that era. I grew up in the era of, barbarians and stuff. And so, and Frazetta and Wrightson and Barry Smith and those guys, they weren't drawing tech. They were drawing everything that was just sort of organic. And that's, what I sort of gravitated to. And then I would oftentimes have to kind of look at like manga and stuff like that to get like real kind of cool tech ideas, because it was just something I never was into. And I never drew cars that much. I'm not saying I wasn't. I don't know if I wasn't. I wouldn't say I wasn't a car guy. I mean, but because I worked on my car and things like that back in the day when you actually could, because there was enough room in the engine to actually get at stuff, or enough room underneath the hood to get at stuff. But I was just never a guy that was like in love with cars or tech or anything like that. So I never really spent a lot of time practicing drawing them. I got to foreshorten this holster, which is tricky. I don't know why I designed him with, this kind of, and I know these weren't like belts back then. They were like just like leather ties, but I did at one point look for reference for like gun belts and stuff like that before I drew these, but I've been using this kind of as my reference ever since, rather than going and looking at. So it's probably sort of semi-accurate, but not completely accurate. But then this is a fantasy Western, right? So I can cheat wherever I want to. I know there wouldn't be any bullets. I don't think here. They'd probably be on the other side of the belt, but I figure the Wraith can design his own belt, right? Put everything where he wants to put it. Shit, that's the other way. See, I'd be willing to bet that David Williams' Bass Reeves is probably way more accurate than what I'm doing. But I don't care. I mean, I always just, and even when I was a kid, I just wanted to draw, you know, I just wanted my pencil moving. And when I had to stop and, you know, it wasn't, I don't know if it was never really about drawing things correctly. It was just about, it was about drawing. And I still sort of have that feeling where it's like, oh, do I really want to look this up and see what it really looks like? Do I really care? I mean, I know it's a Western, so you do it to a certain extent, but I just kind of want to draw and keep going. And then I think at times you realize when you're drawing something, you go, you know, this doesn't look right. This sucks. So maybe I should go check and see what this actually does look like. And then, of course, it helps and improves your drawing, but it's so hard for me to just take 5 minutes and go, yeah, I'm not going to stop moving my pencil. I'm going to go, I'm just going to wing it. I'm not going to stop moving my pencil and look it up. David said he drew a lot of bass for pure SOBA. I don't know what that means because I'm not as badass, maybe. I don't know. I used to have a belt buckle that took up 80% of my waist. That is a show me belt buckle for sure. Ain't nothing wrong with a weird Western. I actually prefer that subgenre. Luke says, I seem to be the only one in CG not fighting a cold, just fighting subs getting removed. You know, it's so funny because I don't pay attention to that stuff as much as I should, probably. Like, you know, my channel growth and things like that. I'm kind of like, you know, I know the overall big numbers, but I don't watch it all that closely. You know, I remember people saying that they had trouble, the monetization thing wasn't working for a while, and I was like, oh, I didn't even check. You know, it's like if I get a small deposit of $150 or something from Google AdSense, I just kind of like, oh, okay. I don't check to see if, you know, if that's what I was getting or should have got, or how come I'm not getting this much? I'm really bad at staying on top of that stuff. This is a 0.3 millimeter lead, which is pretty fine. It's not really great for, I mean, it's great for doing faces, which is why I got it, and doing like little tiny detail work. But if you're trying to do something a little bit bigger and bolder, yeah, not so great. But I'm not going to switch out, and go, oh, I'm going to do his face now, so I'm going to use a smaller pencil. I just don't. Again, it's like too much planning involved in that. Just give me the pencil and let me draw. As you can tell, I got a lot of hang-ups. So we're getting someplace on this. I actually feel the progression is happening. Have I ever seen John Carpenter's Vampires? I was thinking about Wraith when watching it the other day because it's got a Western story. I have not. I saw the movie poster. I'm aware of it, but I never went. I never saw it. Let me take 5 seconds if I can. Well, it'll be longer than 5 seconds, but to remind everybody why I'm doing this tonight. We are in the middle of a Wraith of God Blood Hunters closeout stream is what this is. So you see we got 6 hours left before the campaign goes to in demand. There are horror stories of people that forget to push the in demand button, and then it doesn't go in demand and a campaign ends and they're like, ah! So I believe I've already checked that box. But anyway, so my goal tonight was to get this up over 120, and we did it, which means sorry, a lot of artwork here, which means that $120,000 stretch goal has been hit. And what does that say? Every backer receives a Queen of Hearts Esther playing card for free. So what have we got here on the stretch goals? The Loprestiverse retro editorial page with character value stamp added to the book. And I am going to do like a I don't know if I'm going to do a poll, but I'm going to put it out on Twitter, I think. Find out, get responses from you guys out of all the characters. It was brought up earlier tonight, the characters on the bulletin page, the different titles. Which character out of there would you like to see as the next value stamp? And get your guys' opinion on it and see what comes up. I'm going to put in a letters page that includes letters from you guys. Well, actually emails from you guys about the book. At 60,000, which is unlocked, every backer receives an all-new collectible Kit Carter Galactic Ranger trading card. That art is the black and white art is on the campaign page down here. Actually, we'll take a look at it real quick. And at 80,000, every backer receives an all-new collectible Garbage Man trading card. And then at 100,000, 15 pages of Kit Carter adventure strips will be added to the book. So all of these stretch goals have been hit. So I guess I'm going to have to put one for 150. I don't know what it'll be yet, but we'll figure out something. Get you guys more free stuff. So that's page number 1, splash page, by the way, that I sold the original artwork for on this campaign, and it has sold already. That's the artwork to the Garbage Man trading card. That is sold. That's the art to the Kit Carter trading card, and that is sold. And that will be, these will all, of course, be colored. And when I get them colored and the card laid out and colored as it's going to be printed, I'll post it up here on the campaign page so you guys can see it at your leisure. It'll look something like this. This, of course, is the Merv the Astro Chimp trading card that everybody that signed up early before the campaign went live, you get one of these free when you order. Also known as the Phil Diaz card. But one of my side goals is to get a pretty good size card set that everybody can sort of have and collect and to be part of this whole Prestiverse thing. This is the Ruff's Ash Can that if you like, sketches and stuff behind the scenes, this will have 48 pages of layouts from the book in here. So you can kind of compare the finished page to the layout and see how much changed and all that kind of stuff. That is the Garbage Man limited edition signed and numbered print. What that means is that when we close the campaign down before we go to the printer, whatever the number of orders are on that will be the print run on that. And every copy will be signed by me and numbered by me. So it'll be a very limited edition print. And of course, we have the interior pages to Garbage Man, some interior pages colored by Gabe L.T. Abe from Garbage Man, or from the Wraith of God Blood Hunters. So it's really nice looking book, as you can see. I just think the color work on this is really, really nice. And there's our friend Count Korvac. So this is what you'll be looking at. You're looking at a 100-page book, give or take a page here and there. And you got 4 covers available to you. Now, some people objected to me putting, and they may be right, putting the number 1 up here as opposed to number 2, because this is really the second issue of Wraith of God. But because I was calling it Wraith of God Blood Hunters, it could technically be the first issue of Wraith of God Blood Hunters. But some people were like, no, put number 2 on there because it's the second issue. You're going to screw up my, collection and display. So I probably will change this to a number 2 up there. And then, of course, the wraparound cover is an option. That's the cover A option by me. And then the Simon Bisley guest artist cover. That's also a... it's not going to be a virgin cover like the Keon cover was. This is actually going to have trade dress up here and credits down here. But I just wanted to get the artwork up so you guys could see it. And so I haven't really put together the trade dress for it yet. We have shot glasses. We have T-shirts. We've got... We still have Become a Character in the Story. That's a pretty expensive perk. I get it at $2,000. But you get your likeness in the story. You're a character in the story. You get some dialogue. You get your name in the title page of the book that you're appearing in the book. And you get the original art that you appeared on. So it's not, it's not a horrible deal. It's just an expensive deal. And you got one of those left. So anyway, that's kind of, that's the campaign. That's what we're doing here tonight, is promoting this and making people aware. The link to this campaign is in the description of this video, so you can go zip over there anytime you feel the need. And let's see where we're at here. We're at 123.03, 1754 backers. It's been a tremendous day. I can't complain, but we'll get as many as we can on there tonight. That would be great. So I appreciate all you guys backing it and supporting this project, because obviously it couldn't get done if you guys weren't getting behind it early and often and basically paying up front for something you have to wait a few months for. So, but it'll be worth it. I promise you that. Oh, Daniel Russell bringing a little heat, and I like to return heat. So I'll take care of Daniel. Yeah, Andy does that with his Hostess Pie kind of ads in his books that I think is pretty funny. I keep thinking about that, but the when you get up to like 100 pages just of story, it's like, your print bill is just getting so huge that you're like, I don't want to add any more pages. But that's certainly something I would certainly take into consideration in the future. Mighty Joe's not on Twitter. It's too progressive for me. Well, yeah, maybe with Elon Musk buying it, maybe it'll open up a little bit. What did you think of the practical effects man thing? What was the practical effects man thing? There was the, you're not talking about the old Man Thing movie, right? That was like 15 years ago, that was on like USA Network or something like that, or Sci-Fi Channel, because the one in Werewolf by Night was not practical. That was digital. Varu Kasaki sounds like a professional wrestler. That used to be up here in Portland. For $2. Thank you for the $2. Appreciate it very much. Yes, I do. I have not many. I've got like 4 or 5 of them left. So if you're interested in getting one, email me at aaron@aaronlopresti.com, or you can message me on either Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. I'm on all 3. And let me know that you want one, and then I'll let you know the price. I think they're, off the top of my head, I think they're $12, and I know shipping is $5. I can't remember, something like that. I know they're more than $12. I'm sorry. I think they're $20. I can't remember. But anyway, contact me and let me know that you want one, because I do have a few left. Paul Brillard says, great campaign, Aaron. Looking forward to the book and the launch of your next campaign. Yeah, the funny thing is, I had a long conversation with David Williams on the phone the other day, and as we were talking about it, it's funny, as we're working on a campaign, and we're already thinking about what the next one's going to be, because you do that, right? And it's especially if you're doing a connected universe like I am, it is sort of important where you're going and how long you're going to take to get there. And so right now, I know where Wraith of God ends. It's just a matter of how much filler I want to put in between it before I end the ongoing. Because I think there's probably I think any title, especially a specific genre title like a Western, has kind of a limited time where it's, people think it's cool. So I have to kind of figure out when to bring this to an end, and then how it's going to springboard into other things. So I'm always, I'm thinking about that stuff as we move forward. It's always, on my mind where I'm gonna go with it. And I mean, like I said, I know where I'm going with it, but how many steps, how many collections of Garbage Man stories before we move on to something else? Because it's a dangerous thing when you have something that's, fairly popular, fairly successful, and then to change and go a different, not a different direction, but, evolve into different material. I mean, most of you guys that have read the first issue, you've read the epilogue, so you know that there's something going on. So it's basically how long till I pay that off is the question. And I haven't really decided yet. I wish I could do more faster. And I don't know, maybe one of the answers to the question is to quit doing these 100-page books, and get back to doing like a 64-page book, which is a little bit more manageable. So that might be another way to get stuff done a little bit quicker, because I'd love to do 2 campaigns a year as opposed to 1 campaign every year. Because I have the material to do it, and I have to develop the material to do it. I just don't have the time, and people are like, well, hire an artist or someone else to help you out or whatever. And it's kind of like, well, then you run the risk of, you establishing something and people are used to you being the artist on it, and then trying to sell them on someone else doing it. It could be a hard sell too. So there's always like all these things to consider. But I have a little bit of time to think about it. It's like making a snake look scary instead of looking cute is harder for me than you might think it would be. Yeah, I'm gonna have to reference that later. Get that head right. Normally this is about as much effort as I'm going to put into the pencils, and I'm going to start inking. I'm going to do some like gnarly old tree vine type stuff down here. Probably going to, well, I'm definitely going to make the artwork for this available for sale as well on the campaign whenever I get it done. As I mentioned before, I'm going to do a Prince campaign spring of next year, probably around the time this book is done and about ready to go to the printer. Maybe a little bit before that, maybe like around June or something like that. And it'll have the bloody Keon werewolf as a blacklight poster. And the Bisley cover as a poster. And then some of the other Wraith of God covers as like 11 by 17 prints, where the Bisley will be a full size, like 24 by 36, and the Keon Blacklight will be like 24 by 36 poster. And it's just a prints campaign, so it's just prints, because those all can go into a mailing tube, and they need to be separate than the books because I can't ship them together anyway, much like the shot glasses and the t-shirts and the hats. Now the thing about the there's like a 10-day hold on any order you guys place um, before it becomes finalized. There's like a 10-day window for you to like get a return or something. So once that's passed, I will start shipping out the shot glasses. Like, so you'll get your shot glasses like before Christmas. So you can, drink your Christmas whiskey out of your Wraith of God and Garbage Man shot glasses. And like I said, I'm going to go right to press on the hats because I don't think we have to do minimums of like 48 hats. I've sold like 12, so I'm not really concerned that I'm going to, sell out immediately. And so I'm just going to go ahead and get those printed up so they'll be ready to ship out when people order them. I'd like to indicate a little bit of some rock debris here. Kind of stop shaking the camera. Kind of indicates a little bit of movement, like maybe he just stepped into that and kicked up a little bit of rock and a little bit of dust. I'll do what John Malin hates, and I'll probably put some splatter effects on here too, which is real messy. You're dipping a India ink onto a toothbrush and then spritzing it on there. You got to wear rubber gloves and everything else. It's just, and it can still be a real mess. You have to sort of be careful that you don't spray that ink where you don't want it to go. I sort of go in here with a pencil and indicate the bushes without really putting the detail into them that I will when I'm inking them, because I can just go in and draw the leaves and the shadows in the bush with the pen, as long as I've got the shape indicated enough that I know what I want to do. Let me see here. Comics Exposed for $2 says, I love you, Aaron. I love you, Comics Exposed. Thank you very much for the $2. And I appreciate the warm sentiments. Son of Liberty, I guilted him to buying a hat. Good job. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Paul says, the Bisley cover feels like a 1950s pulp noir novel cover throwback. Very cool. Missing my old paperbacks. I miss those too. In fact, like I said, I was just at this one-day show thing, and they had a bunch of like old paperbacks and stuff like that. So you're seeing old comics, but you're also seeing these old paperbacks and stuff, and it's kind of cool. Good old splatter. I'm sure Aaron brushes his teeth. Yeah, with the white, when I use white splatter, that one, not the black one. I've never used splatter effects until just recently on Wraith of God. And now I love it. I mean, I'm not overusing it, but I think I have purpose behind using it. So, what was that? All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I got to go get, I'm going to get like a quick bite for dinner, and then I'm going to come back on and finish this. So I will start a new stream in about less than an hour. So those of you who want to stay up late and check this out, we will do that with me inking. And yeah, so I think that's what I'll do. So let me switch over here. So I want to thank everybody for joining me for this part one of the closeout stream. Like I said, I'll come back in 45 minutes to an hour, somewhere in that neighborhood. And those of you that are night owls and want to watch me finish inking this thing, please join me and we'll do it. But I appreciate all of you guys that joined me for the last 2.5 hours here. I thank you all for helping me push this up to the campaign up to 120. That was the goal I wanted to hit before we closed out, and we did it. And I'm very excited and thankful for all you guys. And so if you're around, I'll see Daniel's getting his criticism in. But I respect that. I don't agree with you, but I respect it. So anyway, thank you. Appreciate you joining me. Again, the description, or pardon me, the link to the video, oh my gosh, the link to the campaign, Wraith of God Blood Hunters, is in the description of this video if you're watching later. And thank you all. Those of you who are going to go into bed, good night. We'll see you maybe tomorrow night on Comicsgate Kings. If you're going to stay up late, we'll see you again shortly. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys soon.